Today's Cowboys report is a 7-round mock draft, another one. I will say this. I like doing mock drafts to explore different ideas, scenarios as well. The one thing I realized on like all of our mock drafts is offensive line in round 1. So what happens, what could happen, what are the options if Dallas doesn't go offensive line in the first round? We will break that down for you on today's show. Now, a programming alert here on the Cowboys report. We will do the fan-led mock draft next Thursday. Thursday's live show will have the fan-led mock draft. You guys get to vote on the picks. We can rig the election as well in the process via Super Chats. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/CowboysTV. All right, so some scenarios in which, your offensive linemen go early, right? So the bigger three that you have interest in, Amarius Mims, Graham Barton, Jackson Powers-Johnson, are all off the board and like, that sucks. You're missing corners. What makes the most sense to me in this scenario, if we're operating under the linemen are gone that we want strategy, unless you're in love with like a Tyler Guyton, more on that in a minute, I'm going to trade down. You know, I'm going to get assets because I'm not going offensive line. I'm going to see what else is available. So the Panthers, actually in the mock draft sim I was doing on PF, they actually made this exact offer. So all the trades you see today, that was the offer. A second and a third to move down from 24 to 33. So I'm picking up 65th or 65 as well for moving down. Panthers took Brian Thomas Jr. That could have been a decent option for you in the first round, but I'm gonna slide back here and stick with my not taking offensive line in round 1 theory. So the 8 players who then went off the board with no first-round pick. Tyler Guyton is gone. Now, I think there's a good chance he's there, or one of the offensive linemen are there. Fatanu was gone, so maybe you stay pat and take him. But anyway, Chop Robinson was an option. A.D. Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Keon Coleman. And then I was kind of shocked by this scenario. Kingsley Suamataia and Jordan Morgan are off the board. So, like, hypothetical trade down offensive line options also gone. So this was the offensive line disaster mock where everyone goes off the board you were considering in the first round there. Now, I'm not going to cheat and do O-line in round 2. That defeats the purpose of the exercise. And I don't think he should be there at 33, but if he is, it's the top player on my board. It's Johnny Newton out of Illinois. Hot take for some, I have him over Byron Murphy out of Texas. I've got both guys very highly graded. I think Newton could be the player that you've seen flashes of from Osa Odigizua. His scheme doesn't let the D-line fire off of blocks the same way you want. There's some kind of mirror stepping involved there. But he's still got constant penetration, constant pressure, and a really impressive, flashes and impact and ability. There's a lot that I like about Johnny Newton. His numbers went down a little bit this year. Part of that was the defensive scheme. You can go check out that Wisconsin game this year. My goodness, he's just blowing up everything left and right. Back-to-back years of double-digit pressures. I actually kind of like the Geno Atkins comp here for undersized defensive linemen. I'm hoping he could be what I thought Mo Hurst was going to be. Others on the board who, maybe Newton's gone and you make more sense there. Xavier Worthy's there. Darius Robinson's a 30 visit for Dallas. That could be your break in case of emergency option and give you a bigger body at defensive end to help stop the run and kick inside on passing downs. Ladd McConkey. But then it's like Tyler Newman and Bo Nix, and I don't love those options necessarily. So obviously this mock draft, no offensive line in round 1. Do you want to go offensive line in the first? Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. So recent picks in round 2. Malachi Corley's gone. Jalen Polk is gone. Bo Braid, who I like. Brandon Dorless, I'm not going back-to-back D-line. I'm a big fan of his game, though. He'd be a really fun fit in Dallas. Roman Wilson is gone. And clarifying before we show it, I'll be pretty blown away if this guy is on the board. Although, I said the exact thing about CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, and many others over the years, that guy probably shouldn't be there. In the sim I was doing on PFN, Zach Frazier was there. So I am even faster than the Johnny Newton pick. I am hustling my ass up to the podium, and the NFL's mad at me for not taking my full-time allotment, and I'm happily taking Zach Frazier with the pick here out of West Virginia. The athletic testing was okay, not or even above average good. Also worth mentioning, somehow, some way, Zach Frazier did his pro day testing after snapping his leg at the end of the season. I don't know how he's doing this. This defies human physicality. Like, there's no way Zach Frazier should have been able to test at his pro day. He broke his leg down the stretch this year, and he's back already. It's insane. He is the ultimate dog in him guy. He is a tough as nails player. Crawled off that field, by the way, with the broken leg against Baylor. He makes the pre-snap calls. He's a smart kid. He's not a premier athlete, but as a center to help your running game, he will help out significantly. Now, maybe there's a scenario, in terms of what ends up happening with Frazier is not there in the end. Patrick Paul, the offensive tackle from Houston, I would have a lot of interest there in the event that you had Tyron Smith, but he's raw. Braylon Trice, I thought a lot about Xavier Leggett, by the way. Now, real life, wouldn't be shocked if it's a Brooks or Benson pick. But hey, I have another pick coming up in the not-too-distant future. Maybe one of those backs will fall to me. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Go to gametime.co and use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Prices normally drop as the event gets closer, and Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets and making sure you are getting the best option possible. Go to, again, gametime.co, promo code CHATSPORTS, $20 off. The Game Time guarantee means you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. GameTime.co, promo code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. The link and the code, again, will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. With zone deals, you pick the section, and Game Time picks the seats for big time savings. All right, back end of round 2. Players off the board. Braylon Trice, Adisa Isaac, Michael Hall, Max Melton. One of my guys, Peyton Wilson. If it weren't for the medicals, he'd be a top 30 player for me, but the medicals are terrifying. So at pick 65, I will take the guy that I have as the number 1 back in this year's class. That is Trey Benson out of Florida State. The size-speed combination is everything you could want for, or look for, I should say, in a running back. The athletic profile from our good buddy at MathBomb, the relative athletic scores. And you're 6 foot 216, you ran a sub 4.4. I can make that work, baby. Now, the production wasn't ideal from that perspective, and he's not a perfect prospect either. I think there's more straight line speed than there is shiftiness. He never got to 1,000 yards. He bit of a body catcher in the passing game. You also must check an older knee injury. He had a really bad 2020 knee injury. I believe that's fine because it's 3 years removed compared to recently for Jonathan Brooks. But honestly, one of those relative athletic score comps, DeMarco Murray. Get that kind of guy, the third. It's intriguing to me. Others who were still there, Patrick Paul was still there, but I didn't want to gamble on waiting on a running back because, damn, I need one. Junior Colson, linebacker, Xavier Leggett was still there. I think I kind of balancing the likelihood here of, I think they're going to take a running back in the first 2 days pretty early. Now, many of you might want Jonathan Brooks, and I get it. Texas boy, and if healthy, probably would be RB1. Pick one. Who would you rather have, knowing about the knee injury that Brooks is coming off of there? Who would you want? I would think Dallas would do. Who do you want? T for Trey Benson, J for Jonathan Brooks. A couple painful picks off the board here before my next pick at 87. Junior Colson goes a couple picks earlier. Roger Rosengarten off the board. That's a fun day 3 option. Cole Bishop is gone from Utah. Cedric Gray and Ricky Pearsall. Houston really needs more receivers. Pains me dearly. Now, my third round pick, I'm going to gamble on a tackle. It's Kiran Amegadjie out of Yale. Long and athletic offensive tackle who does face a pretty sizable competition jump coming in the not-too-distant future for him. What you always want to have here is dominance in terms of how things play out at a lesser level, and Amegadjie did that. 713 snaps, 1 sack. That was it. He was very much dominant from that perspective. I am curious just how quick he is. You know, at 6'6", 323, probably great athlete for his size. As of filming, I have not seen the pro day testing yet. Should be out soon. I'm sure Dan will have it in his beast. 36-inch arms. It's a big boy. You want to run the ball better, that could help. Others on the board here. Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin, which maybe I could have waited on a running back and just gone that route instead. Javon Bullard out of Georgia. Thought a lot about Jeremiah Trotter with that extra pick, but I kind of want to double down on offensive line. Again, I don't have enough picks to fill all my needs. That's the painful part. McKinley Jackson, if you want a run stopper, I have no issues with that pick in the late third. And Jermaine Burton was the top receiver left for me at that stage. Round 5, pick number 174. Let's get another edge rusher because you're kind of thin right now at that spot. And Mohamed Kamara, if you like production, hello. 13 tackles at a nearly 19% pressure rate. Overall, the athletic testing was pretty good. Not elite, just on the wrong side of that in terms of how good he was overall. But this is a very promising pass rusher who had great production, who has made so many big plays for Colorado State, had 64 pressures this year. There's a lot of things to like about Mohamed Kamara, and I'm in the 5th round. You know, I think there is some special teams value to be mixed in there as well. High motor, does turn 25 years old. So I have a 4th round grade on him despite the age concerns, which, I mean, you're getting an older guy that's pretty damn productive. That's fine for where you're picking there in the late 5th round. Let's have a fun playmaker added to the team here. Ainias Smith out of Texas A&M. Remember, as I'm sure many of you do, he played both wide receiver and running back at Texas A&M. Now, he's not a big player. He's just over 5'9", 190 pounds. The 4.5, 540 was, honestly, I was a bit disappointed by that by that time. He is currently dealing with a stress fracture in his shin, so I'm not going to ding him too much for the pro day times. The 3-cone is very accurate. It's a very shifty type of playmaker there. I think as a slot after-catch guy with some return value as well, that's very intriguing to me. I don't think he's a true top-end burner, but as kind of like an after-the-catch player, if you can't get Malachi Corley, Ainias Smith on day 3 in the 6th round, I think is a very intriguing option. What is the biggest need for the Dallas Cowboys? Is it offensive line? Wouldn't surprise me. Sound off in the comment section right now. Round 7, I'm going to take a linebacker here who the Cowboys brought in for a 30 visit. That is Nathaniel Watson. If you are looking for that sideline-to-sideline linebacker who can do everything, is elite in coverage, fantastic athletic ability, this is not him. If you are looking for a run-stopping thumper, which the Cowboys don't have outside of maybe Eric Kendricks, this is your guy. 137 tackles this year, 13 TFLs, 10 sacks. This is a throwback linebacker who, at his listed size, is much bigger than most. He's listed at 245, by the way, but then kind of, checked in at 233 at the combine. That's not the end of the world to kind of cut some weight, try to run a little bit faster there. A lot of special teams value at his best moving north-south. Didn't love him in coverage. I think a little bit too high on the yards per catch from that perspective. Again, I don't trust the sideline range, but 7th round, bigger body linebacker, that fits what the Cowboys are searching for at this stage. Maybe a day 3 sleeper here. I think when we get to the final, draft sim rankings, I think Jordan McGee out of Temple is going to be much higher on that list. Another 30 visit for the Dallas Cowboys with some good production and some solid athletic ability. In fact, actually really good athletic ability as well. So they've checked off, double dipping at linebacker, filling out the back end of the roster in this mock draft for depth. So the trade down mock draft here for the Dallas Cowboys with no wide receiver or no offensive line in round 1. That was the whole point of this. Sits as such. Johnny Newton out of Illinois in round 2. Zach Frazier somehow, some way also fell to me in round 2. Trey Benson in the 3rd. Kiran Amegadjie in the 5th. Mohamed Kamara as well. Ainias Smith, Nathaniel Watts, or I think Amegadjie in the 3rd, excuse me. Misspoke. Nathaniel Watson in the 7th, along with Jordan McGee, plus Ainias Smith in the 6th round. So grade this Cowboys mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F, knowing it's okay if it's lower because I didn't go O-line on purpose in round 1. Sound off in the comments section.